and for America as a whole. In particular, the President's focus on jobs, middle-class incomes, and helping families and workers succeed in a 21st century economy was very much welcomed. America's breathing a sigh of relief to see Joe Biden in that chair and not the previous president, who just all too often, even in those speeches where you're supposed to rise to the occasion, appealed to the worst instincts of people. The President's plan, President Biden's plan, will help restore that once innate American optimism that has really been shaken for the last 4 years. Now the Congress must act. And as Majority Leader, I intend for the Senate to take up legislation to make President Biden's vision a reality. Truthfully, a lot of what President Biden proposed last night should be bipartisan. Just because a Democratic president proposed a jobs and infrastructure plan doesn't mean jobs and infrastructure are Democratic issues. Just because a Democratic president proposed a comprehensive plan to address one way or another have joined Democrats on legislation in those subject areas for years. President Biden spoke at length about the need to outcompete China. That's something our two-party bipartisan compromise, strong bipartisan compromise, strong legislation coming out of bipartisan compromise is never out of reach. Senator Murphy continues to discuss bipartisan safety measures with Senator Cornyn and others. Senators Booker and Durbin continue to discuss bipartisan policing reform with Senators Scott, Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, and many others. Just this morning, I met with George Floyd's brother, Eric Garner's mother, and Mr. Ben Crump, the lawyer for the family of George Floyd, and I told them we're committed to getting meaningful, strong reform done. Hopefully in a bipartisan way, if we can. Here on the Senate floor, we are proving that our two parties can work together on legislation, including some of the issues that President Biden mentioned. Today's vote offers a great example. This afternoon, the Senate is going to vote on a bipartisan water infrastructure bill. We've agreed with the Republican minority to consider several amendments first, including 3 Republican amendments. I promised my caucus, the country, that we would try to do things in a more open way where amendments would be debated on the floor. We did that last week on the anti-Asian hate crimes legislation. We're doing it today on the water bill, and we hope to do it on the Comprehensive America Competes Act. The bottom line is very simple. We are moving forward wherever we can in a bipartisan way. I expect the Senate will pass the water infrastructure bill with a resounding. So let it be a signal to our Republican colleagues that Senate Democrats want to work together on infrastructure when and where we can. And just yesterday, the Senate passed, with bipartisan support, a measure to reinstate critical rules to reduce the emissions of methane into our atmosphere. It was the first significant action the Senate has taken to combat climate change in at least a decade, probably much more. Even though our two parties have been divided in the past on the subject of climate change, we can no longer afford to have those differences foil our progress. The methane CRA must be the first of many steps we take to tackle climate change. So, these past few months have provided a great example of what the Senate can do. The American people deserve a Congress that works and produces the kinds of change that Americans are demanding. President Biden pointed the way. He pointed the way forward on a number of issues last night. Now it's up to us, here in the Senate and in the Congress, to make progress, the progress for the American people, a reality. I yield the floor. Wait, maybe I don't. I don't yield the floor yet, Madam President. We have some other work to do.